country, they're going to demand that they collapse their equity agreement.
So, Nella, you're going to give us MK secrets now? You must switch off.
Okay, now I've switched off.
Just protecting your information for you, no?
Netbond.
That was a sound check, Honorable Duck.
I don't.
No, it's okay. I just thought you were commiserating about the by-elections, but it's okay.
No, not every swallow means rain is coming. So relax.
I'm just joking. Don't worry.
Maybe you are not, eh? It must have been a major relief. You guys are on a serious receiving end. So yeah, no stress. We will come back.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I'm sure you can proceed with that discussion after the programming committee meeting. Colleagues, you are all welcome to this meeting.
Recording in progress.
Draft agenda has been circulated and I'm sure all members have it. We'll now ask the secretary to give us the apologies for today's meeting.
Madam Speaker, I've received none at this point. Thank you.
Members, do you have any apologies that either come from your members of the party who may not be in the meeting now or not? If none, can we proceed?
Honorable
Yes,
Speaker,
Chair.
I move for the adoption of the agenda.
No, I'm still on apologies, Speaker. My hand is up.
Okay, Mahlope.
Thanks very much, Speaker. I would like to tender the apology of our Chief Whip, Chief Whip Nontando Nolchungu.
Okay, thank you very much. That apology is noted. Any other apology? If none, Honorable Dlagude has moved to the adoption of the agenda. Is there a seconder?
Just before I second, Chair.
Okay, who is on the line also?
Speaker. Honorable
Yeah,
Speaker.
Honorable
Before we
Reddy,
second.
I think there was somebody who spoke before you.
Yeah,
Who was
that's
that?
me. That's me, Chair. I'll say before we second the adoption.
Yes,
I wanted-
remind you.
I wanted to just check, Speaker. I needed some clarity on something. It's probably something that will probably go to the maybe the Rules Committee or whatever. But I needed to take advantage of your presence in this meeting to just ask for clarity on something which I think is crucial that happened in the House.
Okay, can we for now just deal with the adoption of the agenda? Do you want to add that matter as part of the agenda?
Yes. Okay, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
Okay,
yes,
can we
Madam
put it
Speaker.
after matters arising?
Okay, that's fine, Speaker.
Okay, I'll just say money's issue.
Will that be a
Okay,
money bill?
Honorable Reddy.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Is that a money bill issue or is that Honorable Mani?
Honorable Reddy, you don't debate with your chief whip in the meeting.
Honorable Speaker, on a more serious note, I'm just going through the agenda and I'm hoping that at some point, right at the beginning, if we could discuss this issue of the budget meeting scheduled for the 21st. Because we as MK Party,
Honorable Reddy,
is there an opportunity, Honorable Speaker, that we could
in the
raise
program?
this?
When the program is being tabled, I think that matter can come there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank
as
you
long as
very
we have it on record.
So are you
Yes.
then seconding the adoption of the agenda?
Yes, yes, I am.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you. Can we move to the committee sections report?
Thank you. Good morning, Speaker. Good morning, members and colleagues. I'll be presenting the report from the committee section. Starting from slide number 2. On slide number 2, we have a summary of bills and statutory appointments and petitions before the committees. To highlight that there are 27 bills before NA committees at this point in time. Next slide is slide number 24. Slide number 24, it's a new bill referred on the 29th of April to the PC on agriculture. That is the Performing Animals Protection Amendment Bill. The committee is yet to schedule that particular bill. Slide number 5. Slide number 5 is the ESCOM Debt Relief Amendment Bill before the Standing Committee on Appropriations. The committee is planning to hold public hearings on the 13th of June with the view to deliberate and adopt its report on the 15th of July. Next slide, slide number 6. Slide number 6, before PC on COPTA, is the Local Government Municipal Structures Amendment Bill. They have received a briefing on the 1st of April 2025, and the committee is actually awaiting a response from discussions between the MP and the Department of Cooperative Governance as well. Slide number 7, before PC on COPTA, is the Municipal Structures Second Amendment Bill. They had a briefing on this particular bill on the 1st of April. They're still awaiting the outcome of those discussions between the MP and the department as well. Next slide is slide number 8. Slide number 8, before PC COPTA, is the Intergovernmental Monitoring, Support and Interventions Bill. The committee received the briefing on the 6th of May 2025, and they will schedule further. Next slide is slide number 9. Before PC Standing Committee on Appropriations is the Public Sector Pension and Related Payments Bill. The committee is planning to have deliberations and the adoption of the committee report on the 20th of June 2025. Slide number 10. Before PC on Finance is the Revenue Laws Amendment Bill. The committee is planning public hearings on the 1st of July 2025 with the view to also process that particular bill and finish it by the 15th of July 2025. Slide number 11, it's one of the new bills that were referred to the PC on Finance. That is the Rates and Monetary Amounts bill, and the committee is yet to schedule that particular bill. Slide number 12, before the Standing Committee on Finance, is the South African Reserve Bank. And the committee is planning to conduct public hearings on the 2nd of July 2025. And on the 15th of July, they plan to deliberate and adopt its committee report. Slide number 13, before PC on health, the committee is or has had oral submissions yesterday, that is the 14th of May 2025. Provisionally at this stage, they are planning to finalize the work on this particular bill on the 17th of September 2025. Slide number 14, before PC on Home Affairs is the marriage bill. We are reporting that the committee will have public hearings in the Northwest from the 13th to the 15th of June 2025. Slide number 15, before the same committee, PC on Home Affairs, the Immigration Amendment Bill. The committee had a briefing by the Parliamentary Legal Services and state law advisors on their differences on the bill. That was on the 6th of May. On the 13th of May, which is on Tuesday, they had committee deliberations as well. Slide number 16, before PC on Home Affairs is the Electoral Commission Bill. The committee will be receiving a briefing from the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, on the 20th of June 2025. Slide number 17, before PC on Home Affairs, that is the One-Stop Border Post Bill. The committee will be having public hearings on the 27th of May 2025. Slide number 18, before PC on Justice, that is in relation to the Protection of State Information Bill. We are reporting that the committee will have deliberations on that bill on the 18th of May 2025. Slide 19, before PC on Justice, in relation to the Constitution 19th Amendment Bill, the committee is having its initial briefing on the 8th of July 2025, and they will schedule further. Slide number 20, before PC on Justice is the Constitution 20th Amendment Bill. The committee plans to deliberate on the 8th of July 2025. Slide number 25, before PC on Justice is the Constitution 21st Amendment Bill. They will be having deliberations on the 8th of July 2025. Slide number 22, before the PC on Justice also is the RICA Bill, and the committee plans to have deliberations on the 28th of May 2025, where they will consider the explanation by the President on this particular bill. On the 23rd, slide 23, before PC on Justice is the Judicial Matters Amendment Bill. The committee had a briefing on the 7th of May. They plan to have public hearings on the 1st and 2nd of July 2025 and deliberate on the bill on the 9th and the 15th of July 2025. Slide number 24, before PC on Transport is the Merchant Shipping Bill. The committee is going to consider additional written submissions and briefing by PLA on network consultation on the 20th of May, and they also plan to have public hearings on the 3rd of June. Slide number 25, before PC on Transport is the repeal of South African Airways Bill. That committee is having a briefing by the department on the 27th of May, and they will further schedule. Slide number 28. Slide number 28, before PC on Human Settlements, is the Prevention of Illegal Eviction from and Unlawful Occupation of Land Amendment Bill. The committee will be briefed by the member, Ms. Powell, on the 28th of May 2025. Slide number 30. Slide number 30 is also one of the new bills referred to the committee last month on the 24th of April. That is before PC on Water and Sanitation. Is the South African National Water Resources Infrastructure Agency, SOC Limited Amendment Bill. The committee will be receiving a briefing by the department on the 27th of May 2025, and then they will continue with their program. Coming to statutory appointments now on slide number 32. That is before the PC on Communications and Digital Technologies is the matter of MDDA. The committee Provisionally, they will be having shortlisting tomorrow, the 16th of May, 2025, and they will conduct interviews on the 23rd of May, 2025. That is also a provisional date, and they are planning to have deliberations on the 30th of May, 2025, provisionally as well. We move to slide number 36. Slide number 36 is a statutory appointment to the National Council on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide. That is before the Portfolio Committee on Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities. The committee will be sending out an advert regarding that matter as from the 1st of June 2025, and the closing date is the 30th of June 2025. In the month of July, they will be receiving comments from the public on the applicants or persons that have submitted their applications. Coming to petitions now, I move to slide number 39. Slide number 39, there is a petition before two committees, that is the PC on police and the PC on agriculture regarding farm killings. The committees have actually met on the 13th, 2025 for further deliberations on the petition with a plan to adopt their report on the 21st of May, 2025. Slide number 40, that is a petition before PC Police from Mr. Kasim. The committee was briefed by the petitioner on the 7th of May, 2025, and the department responded to those issues raised on the 7th of May, 2025, and the committee plans to adopt the report on the 21st of May, 2025. Slide 42. Slide 42, Speaker, we're just noting that that petition before PC on human settlement, I think there was a member who actually indicated that the petition was completed by the committee. We are now just reporting that that petition is still before the committee. Move to slide number 44. Slide number 44 is the petition before the PC on mineral and petroleum resources. The committee was briefed by the petitioner on the 13th of May, 2025, and the committee agreed to conduct an urgent oversight visit to Alexco following the presentation by the petitioner. Slide number 45 deals with issues that come from the State Capture Commission. The PC Police will be briefed by SAPS on the implementation of the recommendations emanating from the State Capture Report on the 21st of May, 2025. That is all from my side, Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can we take the Bills Office report and then we'll discuss both?
Good morning, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. Honorable Speaker, at the end of my report, can I request that I hand over to Advocate van der Merwe to report on Constitutional Court judgments? And our report from the Bills Office will start from slide number 3. It is important to indicate that currently we have 27 bills before NA committees. So of the 27 bills, 9 are private members' bills, 18 are executive bills. So the withdrawal of the Division of Revenue and the appropriation bills were published in the ATC of the 24th of April. That is why they are no longer part of the list of bills before Parliament. And 4 bills have been introduced since we last reported. Those bills are those that are highlighted in blue in our report, 2 of which are executive bills. 1 is a private member bill and 1 is a committee bill. So the 2 executive bills are the South African National Resources Infrastructure Agency SOC Limited Amendment Bill, B13 of 2025, introduced on the 24th of April. It is a proposed Section 75 bill. The bill was referred to the Portfolio Committee on Water and Sanitation. I must also indicate, Honorable Speaker, that the bill is a priority bill as indicated in the legislative framework of 2025. The second bill, that is an executive bill, is the Rates and Monetary Amounts and Amendment of Revenue Laws Bill, B14 of 2025, also introduced on the 24th of April, a proposed Section 77 bill. It was referred to the Standing Committee on Finance. And the private members bill that was introduced, Honorable Speaker, on the 29th of April, is the Performing Animals Protection Amendment Bill, and it's B12 of 2025. It was introduced by Honorable Ms. Wendy Alexander. And the Economic Regulation of Transport Amendment Bill, B10 of 2025, it's a committee bill that was introduced by the Portfolio Committee on Transport, classified as a Section 75 bill. The introduction of this bill was ATC'd on the 9th of May. As this is a committee bill, Honorable Speaker, after introduction, the bill goes directly to the order paper, and it is indicated on slide number 4. That's the bill that was introduced on the 29th of April as a committee bill. We are moving to slide number 7, Honorable Speaker. Slide number 7, we are reporting that the President has signed the Transport Appeal Amendment Bill, B8D of 2020, into law as Act number 41 of 2024. The assent was also published in the ATC on the 25th of April. So there are currently no bills that are with the presidency at the moment for assent. Slide number 9, which is our last reporting slide. Honorable Speaker, we are only indicating here the number of priority bills that have been introduced that are part of the legislative program. Of the 10 bills that were submitted, 3 bills have been introduced, and we have already reported on them. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Can Honorable van der Merwe, as you requested, proceed?
Thank you, Speaker, and good morning to all the members. If I may just remind members that with this presentation, there is a report that provides information on all the matters where there are constitutional court orders and a suspensive order. In this presentation, we will just highlight those where there will be a gap in the law, if the suspensive order is no longer applicable, and just where there are progress. So the first one to report on is in respect of the Divorce Act. In this matter, the order lapses 9 October this year, so it is becoming quite close. But the Department of Justice has confirmed that the bill is being processed by Cabinet. We are following up with them just to confirm the target date for introduction. On the second slide, the matter of Mohali dealing with the Traditional and Khoisan Leadership Act, the suspension of the order here lapses on the 29th of May. However, there is an application for extension before the Constitutional Court. Parliament has abided by this application for extension and has done an explanatory affidavit. I see I'm saying here is preparing, but we have in fact filed that with the court in the meantime. In respect of regulation of interception, the Amabungani matter, this bill has been referred back by the President and it is before the Portfolio Committee on Justice at the moment. The President has also approached the court for an order to provide a read-in. This read-in lapsed when the bill was before the Presidency for assent. And that is why the President is approaching the court for that order. And then on the last slide, just the Copyright Act, and just to confirm, in the matter of Blind SA, the court has in fact handed down its final order now. It has provided a read-in. In fact, the court has taken the bill that was adopted by Parliament, the relevant clause, and read that clause into law. And that will be applicable until there is new legislation passed that deals with that matter. So there is no further gap in the law on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. The 2 reports have been tabled. I'm now opening up for discussion. Honorable Reddy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think let me begin by saying I have so much of respect for you. And I got a lot more respect after this week when I heard that you come from the same province as I do. And you always give us a fair opportunity. So just in terms of the presentation, The first issue, Section 59 of the Constitution is very explicit around public involvement and public involvement, especially in the legislative process. Now, I've noticed that some of the major bills, especially the financial ones, they have vague or delayed public hearing dates, or some of them have none at all. And I'll give you some examples. The first one is the Rates and Monetary Amounts Bill. There's no public hearing date as yet. And this one we all know has far-reaching tax implications. The other is the Electoral Commission Bill. Here we are amending referendum powers without consultation from the public. And I feel that this will undermine the democratic oversight. So the question that we have as MK Party is, where is the public consultation in these bills? Because Parliament is constitutionally bound to facilitate public involvement. The next one, Honorable Speaker, is there seems to be a duplication of legislation. And here I'm referring to the municipal structures, AB, the two different bills. And the second, it's the AB, one is B2 2025, and the other is B9 2025. They seem to cover the same ground without removing municipal, it's about removing municipal office bearers. So my question then to the presenters will be, why are we processing two nearly identical bills in parallel and wasting the resources and time? I'm not sure whether it's as a result of political infighting or some disagreements there, but I think we need to look at these two bills very carefully and see if they're not overlapping and whether they can be condensed into one. The next one, Honorable Speaker, relates to the Eskom Debt Relief Amendment Bill. We see that once again, debt relief is being framed as equity conversion. We seem to be rewarding failure, because once again, we are going to be requested to pour billions of rands into Eskom. And where are the recovery targets? Where's the forensic audit that we've asked for in Eskom? We think that the public deserves answers about another bailout, which we suspect will be coming soon. Honorable Speaker, the next issue that we found as MK Party is the stalling of critical oversight bills. And there doesn't seem to be proper justification for this. Let me give you one example, and that is the Protection of State Information Bill. This has been delayed since 2010. And then if you look at the SA Reserve Amendment Bill, the last movement on this bill was in 2020. It hasn't been revived, and it still seems to be crawling. So, Honorable Speaker, how can Parliament claim to take state capture seriously when bills meant to secure national information or democratize the institutions like the Reserve Bank are delayed for over a decade? And let me make the point that MK Party is still demanding that Reserve Bank must be nationalized. The last point, Honorable Speaker, relates to statutory appointments. Now, we picked up as MK Party that there is ministerial dragging and inaction because appointments...
Honorable Brady?
Yes, my dear.
If you can try and now round off.
I will.
Remember, it's a caucus day today.
Yes, I do. I won't be long, but the issues I raised are so important. In fact, what I will do is Honorable Mani and I will send through this in writing so that it'll make it easy for everybody to follow up. We think it's very critical and we can't overlook them. And this is the appointments to key boards like the MDDA, the Human Rights Commission, the DPP. These are delayed due to lack of action from ministers and vague timelines. Please, Honorable Speaker, we need to look at this very carefully if we want Parliament to operate as a well-oiled machinery so that we can be delivering to the public and to commit communities as they would be expecting of us. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. We have more. We'll send that to you in writing. Thank you very much.
Honorable Mkhaliphi.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, firstly, thanks for the update in regards to the Reserve Bank, because we've been asking about this information now. The report suggests that the committee is seizing with the matter. Madam Speaker, I just want to make a follow-up or ask the clarity in terms of under committee sections. There was a motion that was passed or adopted rather in August 2024, a motion to investigate statutory rape, including at schools. And then, according to our understanding, Speaker, a task team was appointed across affected committee, which included the committees such as social development, health, basic education, police, justice, and constitutional development to investigate these matters. But now we don't get an update to that regard. As you know, there is a case of Kwekwe, and I understand that the police committee took a decision to go into the oversight there. So it has not been processed. So therefore, I just want to make a follow-up on this one, with how far with this one, if the comment section can cover that. The second issue of closing. Last time we get an update, we told that this matter was at a cabinet level. But Speaker, where is the matter now? Because after that, it is quiet. We can't just go and pass motions.
Honorable
in Parliament.
Mkhaliphi, Honorable
Yes.
Mkhaliphi, I think
Yes,
there was
Speaker.
something wrong with your network. So the issue you are talking about, if you can just go back to it to say, what is the matter?
Oh, the matter, okay, I wanted to understand where is the motion to investigate statutory rapes. There was
Yes,
a
we
motion
got
that
that
was-
one. I think your second
Oh.
issue, when you started, there was
Okay,
something
Speaker,
in
no.
the network, so we missed it.
Okay, the second issue, we want an update regards to the embassy, the decision that we take as a parliament to close down the Israel embassy. The last time we got an update, the matter was at a cabinet level and it's taking too long. So I wanted an update on that one as well, Madam Speaker, because if we start asking those questions at committee level, we were ejected like yesterday when the member Sihlelonze was asking the chair, through the chair, the DG, do you know there's a nepotism and corruption that is happening in this committee? He was forcefully removed from the committee. And we are going to write a letter to you, Speaker, because we think he was treated unfairly and we need that chairperson of the committee to explain himself, possible to be removed.
Thank you, Honorable Mkhaliphi. Honorable Manya.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It's just facing now. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Speaker, a quick one. For me, it's not complicated. Just 3 bullet points. One, the process of the constitutional review. What I wanted to just understand there is the extent of this thing. You know, when you look at the notice is a bit confusing. First, you get excited that the entire constitution can be reviewed. And then you read the notice, then it says in accordance with section 45(1)(c). When you go to that section 45(1)(c), you just find almost like a narrow aspect of what needs to happen. Maybe I'm reading it incorrectly. If I can just get clarity on this thing, as to is it cover to cover, end to end, anything but and everything that can be brought? Does this notice cater for everything, as it were, or is it some narrow administrative issues? That's the one thing. Secondly, Speaker, then there is this thing they call desirability that the legal team usually deals with when they process these things. I was not so sure if they can just give us clarity as to who decides this. For instance, if as the MK party, which we want to do is to push for a sovereign parliament. Now, in a constitutional democracy, immediately that becomes undesirable, as it were. But we want to amend that to make it desirable. Now, who decides that is desirable or is not desirable? The issue here, Speaker, is that we can't have the same framework which we want to change that dictates terms as to how it must itself be changed and all of that, especially on fundamental issues like this one. We don't want constitutional democracy as MK party wants sovereign parliament, as it were. Does this process allow for that kind of a conversation? Can we just get clarity on that? And then last point, Chair, I wanted to just get clarity on the issue of the referendum as to what actually is the purpose of that bill. There's 27 bills here. We don't always know everything blow by blow. The referendum bill, is it to ensure that the issue of the referendum becomes legally enforceable, because my understanding for now is that it still must be processed in Parliament to give it enforceability, as it were. Now, what does this referendum thing do now? What difference is it going to make if it passes? What does its success mean? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Ngobeni.
Thank you, Speaker, and good morning to colleagues. Speaker, mine is just a quick, short one with regards to the program for the Finance Committee, the Appropriations Committee, by way of the timelines relating to the budget processing. Can we just get not comfort, but some confirmation whether those timelines, as tight as they are, given the budget 3.0 debacle, whether we have comfort that the timelines will be sufficiently adequate for the process to go on without any hinges that may be cumbersome for Parliament. We just want to get clarity on whether those are squared away and whether they will proceed as needs to happen legally for the Parliament and also for the government to continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ngobeni. Ngobeni, I would suggest that your point gets covered when we discuss the program. Honorable House Chair Frolik.
So good morning, Honorable Speaker, and good morning to the colleagues on the platform. No, Speaker, I want to agree that the issues that the Honorable Reddy has raised, some of it is quite substantive and it deals with content of legislation. If we can receive that, so that we can process it and also report back on the matters that the Honourable Member is raising. I am aware on one of the critical points that was raised by him, that it deals with appointments, the issue around, and I think it's important for the record of this meeting, the issues of the appointment of the Deputy Public Protector and then commissioners to the Human Rights Commission is a serious cause for concern, because it can lead to unintended consequences if those positions are not filled timeously. Then the matter that has been raised by the Honorable Kalipi, she did text me yesterday afternoon and I requested for the matter to be put in writing so that we can properly process the matter concerning the member that was ejected from the Committee of Higher Education. And then lastly, Honourable Speaker, the Honourable Ngobeni, at the moment as things stand, the programs of those committees that will process the budget that will be tabled on the 21st conforms with the legislation that's in place. However, a lot depends on what happens in terms of what the minister presents and the deliberations that will have to occur subsequent to that. And then, if necessary, then the necessary adjustments will be considered by the committee and will be reported back to the NEPC. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Committee sections and bill section, if you can respond to some specific questions that were asked by members.
Thank you, Speaker. Maybe if I can provide some answers to the questions raised by Honourable Reddy regarding the two bills that are before the PC on COGTA. The only thing I could say here is that one, it is an amendment bill, and the second one is actually a second amendment bill on the same particular bill as well. So in terms of the content, I don't have that, but it can be provided should the member request that. With regards to Ms. Mkalipi's question on the motion to investigate statutory rape, I commit to actually give or to present more information on that motion in the next NEPC. And Mr. Manyi's questions regarding the constitutional review, I suppose that is the process undertaken by the Constitutional Review Committee that he is referring to. And I will ask the colleagues to actually provide us with that information, and then I can bring it to this particular platform. Thank you so much, Speaker.
Speaker, if I may also just add to those questions, in respect of the two bills before COGTA, yes, they amend the same act, but their subject matter actually differs. The one deals with motions of no confidence and the other with, amongst other things, thresholds for membership. In respect of the question by Mr. Mani on the constitutional review, Section 45 of the Constitution simply is the section in the Constitution that allows for the review, and it actually indicates a review of the Constitution. So there is no limit. It can be everything that is in the Constitution. The issue of desirability, that is a political decision that is made in respect of the subject matter of a bill. In other words, whether the subject matter of a bill is something that is currently desirable in respect of the policies of the whole of the government. So it is a decision that is taken with the whole statute book in mind, with the direction that government wants to go in, and that is why I'm saying it is a political decision that is taken on the subject matter of the bill. So the question of if they want to amend the Constitution and what they want to amend is not something that is currently the policy direction in the Constitution. It will be a political decision whether that is the new direction that is desirable or not. But it can be in respect of any section of the Constitution. And then just in respect of the Electoral Commission Amendment Bill that deals with referendums, what the bill deals with is that currently the Act only provides for the President to declare a national referendum, but there is no provision for a Premier of a province to call a provincial referendum. So there is a gap in the law at the moment, and that is what that bill is trying to correct, to provide for provincial referendums to be called by a Premier in national legislation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't see any hand. I think the questions have been answered, Honorable Mani.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Just a final issue on the desirability, because when I'm currently processing a private member's bill with the Office of Advocate van der Merwe. And I know when I discuss with some of the advocates, they say one of the boxes that they must tick from where they sit before the bill gets processed and all of that. It must also pass this thing of desirability, as it were. So is the understanding now not that it's not the legal process, not going to come from there, it's going to come from the House as the bill is being processed, just so I'm clear. That's the one thing. And then thank you for this thing about referendum. I suppose it's probably Western Cape trying to do a Cape exit, and I think it must be declined. But anyway, we'll deal with it at a different level. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Mani, you've got 9 provinces in the country, so any of the province might benefit from that referendum. Honorable Mkhaliphi?
Thanks, Speaker. We'll wait for the update regards to the statutory motion that was we adopted last year in August 2024. And Speaker, it must be registered here that it is not acceptable. We are dealing with statutory rape, we are dealing with kids who are raped at school, but the Parliament is taking time to process such issues in order to protect our kids. The second matter, Speaker, about the Israel embassy, there is no comment, there is no update. Can you also maybe cover that aspect as well?
Thank you. Honorable Reddy, is there a new matter?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, just a quick one. I wonder if it's at all possible for us at the next meeting to get all the bills that are in the timelines. I'm concerned about the timelines because I see that some bills, and I'm taking from Honorable Mani and Honorable Mkhaliphi's comments, some bills seem to be fast-tracked, while more serious and impactful reforms, those bills that seek that, are taking far longer. And the perception is created that there are double standards. that bills that benefit the elite are being rushed, and bills that touch on structural changes like the Reserve Bank or land reform, these are stalled or silenced. I think in order for us to be clear in our minds that this is not the case, perhaps it would be an idea to give us all the bills on one side and then tell us the timelines in which these bills have been finalized or in the process of being finalized. Then we as Parliament will be able to see whether certain bills are being prioritized in terms of timelines, they are being quickly rushed through the process, while other more serious bills are being delayed. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Reddy. While that work is done, I would suggest that we also ask Honorable Frolick and the chairpersons, because the decision on processing the bill and setting the timelines is actually done at a committee level. It is not the bills or the committee section who will determine for the committees. After the bill has been tabled to the committee, it is the committees that must work out a schedule on the processing of the bill. So in terms of your request, I would actually suggest that there must also be consultation with the chairpersons of the committee to raise the concerns that you are raising. So it may not necessarily be next week. Once that consultation is done, we can then receive that report that you are requesting. On the issue of Israel, Honorable Mkhaliphi, we did receive a report to the minister saying they are dealing with the matter. We will pursue it again with him to say, you know, how far they are. It is taking longer, and there's concern from Parliament that this matter is not moving as fast as it should. On the other matter, I'm not sure whether the Bills Office or the committee section can discuss with regards to the desirability that was responded to earlier, but Honorable Manye was also reflecting on the matter afterwards. I'm not sure whether the team can come back to that matter.
Thank you, Speaker. I will speak to that. Speaker, there's a difference between desirability, which is a decision taken in the committee, and certification of legislation. Certification happens before a bill is introduced, and it looks at a number of things. It looks at constitutionality. It looks at compliance with drafting conventions, so that when a bill is introduced, it is not just a one-liner, it actually conforms with the statute books, conventions for purposes of interpretation of laws. And it looks at whether there are conflicts with other laws on the statute book, and if it's an amendment bill taking into account, that is, of course, amending the statute book. So it's a bit of a different argument, or not argument, but the rationale for the two are different. The one looks at constitutionality, and desirability, as I say, which is taken in the committee, deals with the political side of the bill. So constitutionality, when we amend the constitution, we must just keep in mind, of course, all the guidelines that we have had before in respect of amending the constitution, the certification judgments. There's a debate on whether the basic structure doctrine is part of our law or not, but it is something that we must be cautious about. And then when certification is done, if there is a risk of that coming up, the member will, of course, be warned about that so that he or she can prepare for any such argument when the bill is considered in a committee. So it's two different processes. The one is done on private members' bills and committee bills by our office, legal. On executive bills, that process is done by the state law advisor, and then the bill is introduced. The next step is then the desirability, which is a political decision in the committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Manye, I will request that maybe we take this matter, if it's about the desirability, maybe with the team at legal, so that it does not delay the meeting.
Yeah, just one final issue, Speaker, if you indulge me, just 30 seconds. Because I think she has clarified the desirability is a political one. Maybe then perhaps I must apologize. Maybe I asked the wrong question. The question is actually this one of certification. This is my problem, Speaker, that we want to change the constitution itself. We want to change the rules that govern even everything else. We want to change everything, but we are hamstrung by this certification thing. This certification thing, as she's saying, it must look at the constitutionality, it must look at not conflicting with everything else and all of that. And what we want to do actually does exactly the opposite. It does exactly that. We want to railroad what is in place because we think what is in place is informed by the colonial construct. It is informed by imperialism. It is informed by all those kinds of things. We want to railroad that. But now she is saying, by default, that we're not able to do that because the rules of engagement say, stick to the rail lines. Here are the rail lines. You can paint the house, but don't change the foundation. And
Okay,
we want to change the
Honorable
foundation.
Manye. Honorable Manye, can I really appeal to you? Because as long as those rules of engagement are not yet changed, as long as the Constitution is not yet amended, we will have to proceed with what is there for now. And I do request that if there is another process and a debate that you are proposing in terms of the model of what must happen, you can propose that, but it will still have to be consensus amongst all the parties. So I really would plead, there is nothing more that the committee can answer to that. I hope you would agree with me.
I will sit down, Chair. I don't agree, but I don't want to prolong
Yeah,
the
you may
discussion.
not agree, but what I'm trying to say, Babu Manye, is that you are talking of a current construct that, yes, you differ with, but until a constitution is amended, we can't then be hamstrung and not work.
No, Speaker, just final point. An example here, if you want to change a law, a legislation, or any of these acts, Chapter 1 of the Constitution says anything inconsistent with the Constitution is null and void. So I understand that process to the extent that when you amend a law, it must be in line with the Constitution. The issue I have is that when you want to amend the Constitution itself, something higher than the Constitution that is not in place has to be what guides it. I don't know what.
Yes.
But the issue I have is that
Babu Manye, that's why we've got a constitutional review committee. I was just saying, maybe the matter, I'm not saying let's not continue to engage on it, but I'm just saying that in as far as today's meeting and what the colleagues may be expected to respond to may not happen today.
Okay.
Yes. I'm not saying the matter you're raising, it's not an important matter that must be engaged with. But I'm saying today in this meeting, engaging with it, you may not be satisfied because it might not be within the hands of the officials to be able to engage with you on that matter.
Covered, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable Swart.
Speaker, morning to you and morning to the colleagues. Speaker, just for record purposes, a number of parties, including the ACDP, opposed the motion concerning Israel. And therefore, whilst we appreciate you writing to the minister and indicating a concern from Parliament about a delay, given that the motion was passed by a majority, just for record purposes, it's important to note that the ACDP does not support that. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Swart. Can we now move to maybe Honorable Kalipi on the matter of the subcommittee which was dealing with the statutory rape matter? I've asked the Secretary Xaso to actually come back to us next week on the report on what happened to that committee and its work. Where are we? So that we then give you the response that you require. Thank you, Honorable Kalipi. Can we now move to the consideration of the parliamentary program? It has been circulated. Members have it. I'll hand over to the
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Speaker, and to all the colleagues, honorable members and staff members on the platform. I really want to try and do this very briefly, Speaker, given the fact that we have caucuses later. So just before I ask,
We'll appreciate that.
yeah. I just want to, because as you indicated, Speaker, this program is shared, and people have an opportunity to look at it before. So I want to just start with highlighting a few dates. 21st of May, all of us know that it will be the tabling of the budget, and my understanding is that, and possibly Mr. Kaso can just confirm. It's in red, but my understanding is that we are going to the CTICC auditorium. Then just to say the 11th of June, which is another important plenary, would be when we meet face to face and deal with the fiscal framework, considering the report from the Finance Committee. Then another important date for members to note is 26th of June, Division of Revenue Bill. That is also a very important date in the parliamentary program. I think we know that on the 15th of July, we deal with Parliament's budget vote. On the 16th of July, we deal with vote 1, the presidency. And then on the next day, the 17th of July, the president replies. And then obviously the big day of the 23rd of July, where we deal with the appropriations, the votes, and also the schedule. Then we know that the president is answering questions on the 27th of May, the deputy president's answering questions on the 12th of June. And we are, as discussed in the Chief Whip's forum yesterday, going to be getting a motion in the House soon to revive certain reports. You would recall, Speaker, your office sent a letter to me as a programming whip around revival of certain reports. That will be done by way of motion and then programmed. And also at the Chief Whip's forum, we discussed yesterday a slight amendment to the Africa Day debate on the 22nd of June. You would recall there was a view that we should incorporate, when we talk about and debate Africa Day, the issue of the impact of us as South Africa hosting the G20 and integrate those topics. I could go further and get into all the issues of the dates, for the different votes and the youth parliament and so on. But in the interest of time, I would prefer to stop there, Speaker. But if required, we can obviously go through it in more detail. The last point I want to make is that I think I would appeal to honorable members that when we have reports, and you would see there, for example, what's up on the screen now, Thursday, the 22nd of May, the report on transport, economic regulation, etc. It says there declarations, right? So it's clear that in certain instances, we will have the declarations. Then the second one, which is, I say, a second reading of this transport bill, it says there no debate. I would just appeal to members that once it's on the program about it, yes, there are declarations or there's no debate. Colleagues should note that, and in this meeting indicate if they want, for instance, if they're not going to be declarations, then members should say in this meeting that they would like it, because we were dealt with a difficult situation where on the day, there was a couple of weeks back, there was a request to actually have declarations where the program said there wasn't, and then everyone else had to, on that day, prepare for declarations. But otherwise, Speaker, that's all I would like to present at this point in time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Just to indicate, Program Whip, that actually the colleagues may not be able to say in this meeting, rather, or on any meeting of the programming committee, whether they will have declaration or not declaration. They will communicate with the NA table before the sitting, so that we are all aware which parties are making declarations or not making declarations. And on the issue that was asked by Honorable Ngobeni, if you look at those dates, Honorable Ngobeni, in terms of the Money Bills Act, they have been put following that process, the 16 days in the fiscal framework before it comes to the House, and the 35 days before the division of revenue. So those have been factored. I see the hands of the colleagues, Honorable Ntlangwini, followed by Honorable Kalipi, followed by Honorable Dagmo, and followed by Honorable Reddy.
Thank you, Speaker, and morning to you and morning, colleagues. I just want to check on the 11th, the plenary of June, the 11th of June, and then on the 26th of June, and I think somewhere in July, there's no venues for those house sittings. I just want to check which venues are going to be used, and if we try to secure venues, and if it's going to be hybrid or fully physical. And I would propose that it must be fully physical and not a hybrid system, as we would know the importance of those dates and those fiscal frameworks that needs to be passed by the House. I think also the second one from my side, Speaker, and it was raised as well yesterday by us in terms of venues. We must ensure that all of the venues that we are using, there are some form of recording taking place in terms of video footage. Had it not been for M46 yesterday, we would have not known that our member was forcefully ejected. And that has been happening in a trend to many other committees, that committees are seated and there is no form of recording. So we must, by all means possible, sit in venues where there are cameras, and then Parliament must ensure that those meetings get ensured. I mean, that is part of the rules and it's constitutional. It's not something that we are asking that is beyond Parliament's means. All meetings of Parliament must be recorded and publicly be able to view them. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mukalipi.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, we raised this thing yesterday in the Chiefs Forum, but we thought let us raise it again here, because anyway, we are the head of the institution. The regards to the sub-rules, which has not taken place for quite long. So yesterday, when we raised it, we were told that the chair of the sub-rules was busy with other committee. So it means if she is not available, the work of Parliament must stop until she finishes the other work of hers. So this is unacceptable, because we have taken a decision as a rules committee a long time ago that there are critical rules that need to be processed and be passed by Parliament. One is to ensure that the presidency, of which we also debate the president votes, the committee must as well be established as soon as possible, then to ensure that the president is accountable to the Parliament. So that rule has not been processed and it's taking too long. The second one is an Interpol, and then it has not been processed as well. So we are raising this matter for the Speaker to look at it. And then the second matter is the one that Honorable Mtwangen is talking about. But I'm not going to cover that in terms of cameras and in Parliament. So the one that I'm going to raise is the issue, and the Honorable Chair, House Chair, also said, he was not aware that since the Finance Committee, as well waiting for the budget on the 21st of May, since then, the Finance Committee has not been scheduled, there's but not been sitting. There are other matters that need to be processed as a Finance Committee. Very important matters. One of them is the issue of the Itala Bank, which as members of Parliament, we read it on the media. The Finance Committee is not taking place, and the committee members has written to the chair of the committee and is not even responding. That's how it disrespects his members of the committee, while Finance Committee is very important. So we bring that into your attention, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Dagmo, yes.
Thanks,
and followed
Speaker.
by Honorable Reddy.
Yeah, and I also see Honorable Lakude has her hand up.
I see, Honorable Dagmo. You can, I've pointed you. Please answer.
Sorry,
And
Speaker.
We're not a steward, we're not talking
Order, honorable members. Let's also be mindful of time. It's 9:31. We still have got, minutes and matters arising that we must deal with.
Yeah. Speaker, just very briefly, thank you. On your response around the issue of declarations, I am aware of that. I just think we maybe outside this meeting, maybe at the Chief Whip's Forum, need to look at a convention about the time by which a request which is not in the program, so that others who might then want to make declarations can also, because I know there's obviously anyone has a right to do it, but sometimes in the program when we have it as no declarations, then everyone sort of is on board and then there's a late application. But I don't think we should discuss that now. We can deal with that. And then the last issue is that all of us agreed on those important plenaries, given our problem with the dome, et cetera, that on those critical dates, i.e. the budget, the 11th of June, which is the fiscal framework, the 26th of June, and then obviously the 23rd of July, when we deal with the appropriations, that we do need a venue. And I'm sure Mr. Klausel can update the programming committee as to where we are on those. But we've all agreed, despite the constraints, we will go with hybrid for others, but for these critical ones, we have to be face-to-face, as the honourable member said, with proper recording, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, honourable members. Just to help other members not to go back on that issue, in the last programming committee, we did agree that those important dates are not going to be hybrid. It will be the full sitting. The issue we are finalizing is the venues, and we will communicate in time. So I just want us not to go back to that issue, because we did agree that besides the fact that we're on hybrid, for the reasons that we all know, but for those important days, we will have a full sitting. Honorable Reddy.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I have just 3 points, but Honorable Dagmo raises a very important issue, which I'd like all of us to take note of. When we get the program, it states no declarations. We should not be introducing suddenly a change to that because it upsets the entire program. The second issue that arises from Honorable Dagmo's point, it's about questions. I just feel that we need to, at a later meeting, at a future meeting, Honorable Speaker, is to discuss how questions are being distributed among parties. Now, let's come to my 3 points. The first relates to the budget presentation for the 21st. I want to get clarity on this, because and if it has been discussed in the Chief Whips Forum, I think you can just state that, it's fine, but give us for record purposes. The budget process, which MK Party said initially stated should start de novo from the beginning and confirmed by the court, means that there has to be public consultation. Now, I am concerned that on the 21st, we are going to go into this meeting, and I haven't heard anything about any public consultation or any public process, unless this has been done very covertly, underground, that no public knows about. Maybe we can get some clarity on that. The next one, Honorable Speaker, is the oversight reports. Now, we have a mini plenary that's scheduled for the 23rd of May. And I want you to have a look at the debates there, the discussions there. It relates to critical oversight reports, such as those on eThekwini, Msunduzi, and Ugu municipalities. And what we're doing is we're taking such an important critical matter affecting communities across the country, and we're putting this on a virtual mini plenaries and not for a full plenary debate. This, Madam Speaker, really dilutes accountability on serious service delivery failures, especially given known water and governance crises that's affecting different municipalities. And finally, Honorable Speaker, the budget vote debates, and this is so important. Honorable Dagmo, please have a look at this. They are being compressed and stacked between the 1st and 23rd of July. The budget vote debates, including those for water and sanitation, scheduled for the 9th of July. The governance, cooperative governance one is on the 10th of July, and public works is on the 9th of July. They are overly compressed, Honorable Speaker, within a very short window period. And this certainly limits deep scrutiny, particularly for departments facing major performance and corruption issues. So I think we need to be able to give members an opportunity to be able to spend more time, if we are serious about dealing with these key issues during this compressed period. It's going to be just too much. and then I'm going to be saying that we are overworked and underpaid. Thank you.
Honorable Dlakute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that our last meeting as the subcommittee was in April. Then we had constituency period and leave period and the holidays that were there. With regard to the committee on the presidency, I wrote a letter which members had for them to consult their caucuses and make proposals. Yes, the EFF in the previous term did make a representation. So we have new parties who are supposed also to make their proposals on the gaps and where on how the committee must do their work. So the deadline for the submission of all parties is the 30th of May, of which we explained that. Then with regard to the other matters, what I said in the Chief Whip's Forum, Honorable Speaker, is that we couldn't meet last week because I was attending another meeting for the whole week last week. Our plan is to have a subcommittee meeting next week that will deal with the other issues that are there, the money bills, and also the issue of the interpellations. Then with regard to the committee on the presidency, we said the deadline for submission is the 30th of May, of which we can meet on the first week of June. And also to put on record here, members of the subcommittee, some of them are complaining if we want to have a virtual meeting. So we prefer to have a physical meeting. So that will be my submission, Honorable Speaker. It's not that the subcommittee couldn't meet. I remember there was a time when we called for a virtual meeting, and then members were complaining. Some members were complaining to say that we cannot have a virtual meeting. We rather meet physically. So that will be my submission, Honorable Speaker. And I don't think it would have been wise for us to have meetings during the holidays or the constituency period or during the leave period. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd ask Secretary Kaso to respond to some of the issues.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, honorable members. In relation to public participation on the budget instruments, firstly, the budget will only be introduced next week. So the committees would not have had public engagements on those instruments at this point. And there was always public participation in relation to those instruments. The appropriation bill, division of revenue bill, and even the fiscal framework. So I have no reason to think that there won't be that public participation because it is a constitutional imperative. And again, the issue of the debates on the budget votes, honorable members will be aware that before budget votes go for debate in the House or in mini plenaries, they must be scrutinized in committees. So the scrutiny will definitely happen in the committees where they consider each of those budget votes and then have the debates. The debates are on different days, and it's not out of the norm that they've been scheduled the way they have been. Consideration of committee reports in mini plenaries. I think that the Chief Whip Forum can discuss the matter, the principle, but that has always been the case that sometimes mini plenaries will consider members' motion or committee reports. If it is not desirable that reports are considered in mini plenaries, then the Chief Whip Forum must discuss that, and which would mean that we must create more space in the main plenary. But mini plenaries are meant to assist the House just to go through issues so that you don't have matters under further business for a long period. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Sorry, there is an issue that has been raised about some committees not meeting. We take note of that. We will write formally to the chairs as well as Honorable Frolik is in the meeting as the House Chair responsible for committees, will engage with the relevant committees in respect of their meeting slots. With regard to the concern that was raised on the venues for these debates on the money bills, we will ensure that we do have the broadcasting, instruments as well as the footage, video footage, to ensure that it captures. As we had indicated, we continue to try, even under the situation, to make sure that as best as we can, we have more committee rooms that can actually be accessible by members outside Parliament in terms of the video footage and broadcasting. It's a work in progress, and we are alive to that because members have raised it. Can we now move to the consideration of the minutes of the 30th of April, which I take it as read? Are there any corrections to the minutes that members would like to make?
Honorable Chair. Honorable
Honorable
Speaker.
Sithole? Yes, Honorable Sithole.
Good morning, Honorable Speaker, and good morning to honorable members and all members. Honorable Chairperson, on attendance, I was in the meeting, but my name is not there, and the Honorable Hadebe is not on that one. And the other one, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Speaker, that I'm checking is the issue of attendance of staff. Is only one staff which shows that it's been attending the committee, so attending the committee. So now I'm trying to check the criteria that they are just saying only one member. Thank you very much, Roche.
Thank you. The correction on the attendance will be addressed, and I will just ask Honorable Kaso to deal with the issue of staff.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In terms of staff, we normally reflect on the colleagues who would have made presentations. We will just check why the other colleagues were not reflected. If they did make presentations on the day, for instance, Bill's office, committee section, that will be taken care of. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Ngobeni.
Thank you, Speaker. I have the same issue as Honorable Sithole. My name also doesn't reflect, and I was present in the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. That would also be corrected. Colleagues, can I get the mover for the adoption of the minutes?
I move, Chair.
Honorable Manyu moves. Any seconder? Honorable Dagmo, are you seconding?
Yes, Speaker, I am. Thank you.
Thank you. Matters arising, I will ask Secretary Klasu.
Okay. Madam Speaker, thank you so much. There are two matters. One is on the screen. The other relates to the costs that were incurred on the two budget sittings that did not take place, or while they did take place. The one of the 19th and the one of the 12th of March. The costs were 1,400,000 for those two sittings. These are the costs borne by Parliament, not the cost borne by Public Works. It does not include the cost of the dome, but it's facilities that Parliament required to cause those sittings to take place. So it's 1.4 million. And the issue was an issue about the dome. The Minister of Public Works did appear before the Chief Whips Forum on the 17th. The meeting dealt with a number of issues, including the dome. Again, we wish to confirm, as indicated, that at the City ICC, it is the auditorium that we shall be using for the budget next week. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Dagmo, is that an old hand or a new hand?
Apologies, I'm taking it down now.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Ntlangwini.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, I just want to check, maybe perhaps Mr. Qaso can also put that in writing, the cost attached to it, and then maybe perhaps we must also get the cost of public works together, an overall cost, because it 1.4 million for 2 sittings. It's quite an extensive amount that was spent, and there must be somewhere that someone must take accountability for such a huge amount. That Parliament have lost 1.4 million in 2 attempts to bring up a budget to the House. I think it's something that we can't downplay. It's a lot of money. We want it and we need it to be written down together with the cost of public work so that we can get a full cost analysis as to the loss and the cost implications of that full 2 attempts. Because it must be noted, Speaker, and it must be clear to these ministers, their inability to follow processes and chairpersons, and to an extent you, Speaker, to follow processes to the latter have costed Parliament 1.4 million that could have been spent on any other things that is needed in Parliament. So Parliament is 1.4 short, and the cost can be more, because I don't believe that is the full cost. If we can have that in writing. Thank you, Speaker.
We will indeed share the full cost in writing, but on the public works, we will write to the minister as per your request. Honorable Mkhaliphi, followed by Honorable Ntuli.
Speaker, on the meeting last week, I think it's reflecting on the minute as well. It was looked like EFF was attacking you after the court order said you must pay 50% of the EFF cost. And I ask here specifically, when are you going to pay from your own pocket? Now is no longer that 50% from you and from the minister. And the Speaker, I agree with Honorable Ntlangwini. If this matter, if you protected Parliament on this matter, we could have avoided all this unnecessary, very huge bill now the Parliament must pay. We wasted a lot of money, which is taxpayers' money. Now, who is going to be accountable with this amount, as Honorable Ntlangwini was asking? I ask as well, Speaker, because when we wrote to you on that day to say that the proper process were not followed, it could be avoided. So now we're sitting with this huge bill. Who's going to pay? Are you going to pay from your own pocket as the head of the institution? Is the minister going to pay from his own pocket? Because he insisted to continue with unlawful procedures on this thing. As we speak now, Speaker, we don't have a budget as a country, and we don't know what will happen. So, Speaker, can we do the right thing as Parliament? We can't be complaining about the executive and the cabinet, while as Parliament, we are not doing our job as well. People are pinning their hopes in Parliament, but we seem as if we are also not doing service to our people. Can we get a clear answer, Speaker, and avoid these things going forward as Parliament, Speaker? Thank you.
Honorable Ntuli.
Yeah, thank you very much, Speaker. Good morning to you and good morning to honorable members. And now, Speaker, I thought maybe one must weigh in this discussion because to a larger extent, I have a strong feeling that there is a manipulation of facts in this discussion. Firstly, the reference is made to the sittings of February, as well as the one in March, the 12th of March, when the minister actually presented the budget. So the reference is about the one where the budget could not be presented because cabinet was not ready. And I fully understand the concerns about that. The second reference has got to do with the 12th of March, where the budget was presented. Now, it doesn't make sense to me that there is an argument relating to what may be classified as a wasteful expenditure relating to the sitting of the 12th of March. Because on that day, the budget was presented and nothing wrong happened on that day, as a consequence of which anybody would have to be made to account either as an individually or on behalf of the offices they hold. And then subsequent to that, there was a sitting on the 2nd of April. Nobody has mentioned that. I don't know whether the honorable members are actually talking about that sitting. There was sitting on the 2nd of April where the fiscal framework was considered. And of course, we all know and understand that that sitting was preceded by a portfolio committee on the 1st of April where the contention was raised about the legitimacy of that meeting and whether or not the sitting should have proceeded on the 2nd of April. But I don't get, I'm saying the facts are being manipulated or distorted in a sense that I cannot understand why would members of this committee say that there has to be somebody taking a personal responsibility, especially for the sitting of the 12th. The one that could not take place in February, I understand that concern, and I fully agree with your response, Speaker, that a written information will be made available to parties, including engaging with the public works to submit their own information as well. But I am concerned that the argument relating to the 12th, in my own view, does not hold because we had a sitting on that day. The minister presented the budget. Whatever costs associated with that sitting were supposed to be adhered to because the sitting did actually take place. The same with the sitting of the 2nd of April, just to conclude this point, Madam Speaker. The fact that Parliament took a position that others did not like and it ended up in court does not in any way invalidate the sitting that took place on the 2nd of April. It's Parliament that said and it took a particular decision, and that decision resulted into a litigation. And I wouldn't want even to be dragged into the conversation about, or maybe to drag this meeting into a discussion about the merit or demerits of the litigations. But the argument, what I am contesting, and I have a challenge of accepting, is the argument that seeks to suggest that those two sittings should not have taken place because we knew well ahead of time that something was wrong about them. I don't think that is a correct assessment of the situation. Thank you.
Thank you. I would ask Secretary to respond on some issues.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just to again make the point, which was also made in other meetings, that there was no personal cost order against the Speaker in the court proceedings. That's not part of the order, and therefore the matter does not arise. And also, Speaker, we're giving this information because there was a request to do so, but we do need to make the point that matters of financial management of Parliament do not reside with this committee. They reside with the Joint Steering Committee on the Financial Management of Parliament. So whatever other process that may occur in relation to any of these costs, it's a matter that will have to be dealt with by that structure, the Joint Steering Committee on the Financial Management of Parliament. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. I'm not sure whether the hand that is up from Honorable Kalipi is a new one or it's an old one. Okay, can we now move to the money issue, which he said he wanted to raise?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. It's a quick one. You know, it's a clarity-seeking, guidance-seeking Speaker. You know, in the House, something very strange happened when the MK party raised a member statement on Advocate Pretorius's unsuitability to join NPA following his role at the Zondo Commission, where we were arguing that he can't be the referee because he was a player. That kind of a discussion. That must have touched a nerve, because what then followed from there, Madam Speaker, is that when you gave the executive an opportunity to respond, two executive members rose on the issue and they said something different, each one of them. One was Honorable Steenhuisen, who said something else. Another one was Honorable Nel, who said something different. Now, the issue for me here is that I sit here, I'm none the wiser, because from Honorable Nell's side, he comes from the cluster that was dealing with the matter, but he's not a cabinet minister. The other one is a cabinet minister that comes from a different cluster, but was touched by the member statement. But now I'm sitting with two answers that are different from the same coalition government. Now, I don't know which is the right answer here, Speaker. So the reason I'm rising here is to say, isn't there some guidance on what should happen when this thing happens? Is it right for two members of the executive to respond to the one issue, as it were? What is the governance around that? I just need clarity on that, Chair. Thank you.
Statutory Council?
Madam Speaker, the executive, members of the executive, or shall I say cabinet, are individually and collectively accountable to Parliament. It is not unusual that you find different ministers responding to a matter, especially a member statement, from different angles. So, I mean, the rules do not prescribe that a minister must respond specifically to the statement that concerns their ministry, because you have clusters, as Honorable Manyi has said, but also there is cabinet that meets together collectively. And so I guess it's a matter that may have to go to the Rules Committee if there's a concern about it, because it's a rules matter. It's really not a programming matter. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Manyi, is it a new matter?
Just to close on it, Speaker, I hear what Mr. Kaso is saying. The issue I have is that if you have, it's not an issue of different angles, it's different answers completely, different answers. I don't want to rehash the discussion. The point is, what happens when two executive members from the same coalition government on the one question give two different answers? Which answer must I take? Which one weighs more? What must I take? It's two different answers I got yesterday. I don't know which is the right answer. And we're supposed to have members responding, and they respond and the others respond correctly to things, and then we tick a box. But here, the question still stands, because now I have two answers. Which is the right answer? Is it the Nel answer or is it a Steenhuisen answer? Which is the right answer? That's my issue. Thank you, Chair.
Madam Speaker, if I may.
Yes, you can.
Madam Speaker, without directing the honourable member, but Honourable Manyi, you could use other mechanisms. There's a mechanism of questions, for instance, where you could follow up on the issues. If you think that there are contradictions, you could use that mechanism, either as a follow-up question or a main question or another statement. So there are different mechanisms that you can use to deal with the issue and clarify the position of the executive on the matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaso, and thanks to all
Speaker,
members.
I'm just checking the Speaker on the issue, as Mr. Kaso is saying that Mr. Manyi can use other mechanisms. Why don't you use the other mechanisms, such as the Deputy President as the leader of government, to talk to their ministers to stop clowning?
Honorable Mkhaliphi, that's a new matter. You can raise it with me to say who was clowning when. Thank you very much, honorable members. The meeting is closed. It's 10 o'clock. Members have got party meetings. Honorable Dagmo?
No, Chair, I can't go against your ruling, but, you know, sometimes people should ask who are the...
Honorable Dagmo, we've closed the matter. Let's end the meeting. members are released to go to their parties. Thank you.
Long live the chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Recording stopped.
Again.